So to fix all of our issues that we've been having with implicit weights, there is an option in Selenium WebDriver known as an explicit weight. And an explicit weight is just the code that you define to be able to sit and wait for different kinds of elements for something to occur. That's an explicit weight, as opposed to using the implicit weight method of Selenium WebDriver. You actually define the code that allows you to check for a certain condition. So let's quickly go through this test, and I'll show you guys different examples of explicit weights so that you can better understand. These test class is pretty much the same as the last one that we were looking at for the implicit weights. However, what I did here is just clean it up a little bit. The URI I also updated just for variety. Instead of going to the first page, I'm taking you guys to another dynamic loading screen. And this one, the only difference is that all the actions are the same. But here, if you look at the HTML, you can see that div that we were looking for doesn't exist with the hello world, right? It doesn't exist right now. And it gets rendered only after we click the start button. Take a look. See that? Now it exists in the HTML. It wasn't rendered before that. So that's the main difference. Also, what I did was I put our element into a class variable here so that we can use it all throughout and it can be consistent in all of our tests. And I am also going to be using a stopwatch class to show you guys how long a test takes to run. In my setup method, I do the basic initialize that we have been doing, creating a Firefox driver. And then I'm also going to our URL and I'm finding the button element right away. And then from there, I'm going to take other actions on our tests. So the very first example that I want to show you guys of explicit weights is this thread.sleep. It is the worst example by far of an explicit weight because you should never use it. This is exactly the same thing as an implicit weight, except you're literally just hard coding how long a test is going to wait for an element to appear. And so if we run this test, and then we can come here and see the output, you can see that the time for element identification was 10 seconds. And that makes complete sense, right? Because we started the stopwatch here right before our sleeping of 10 seconds. And then we obviously, the element was already loaded. And so this took less than a second. And then we stopped our stopwatch and then the element was found. So the length to find an element using thread.sleep is obviously going to be as long as this thread.sleep. It doesn't matter that the element was returned within 5 seconds. It's still going to wait for 10 seconds. So our problem with implicit weights is not solved here, but it's exactly the same problem. Then you can progress to a better solution to be able to have your tests dynamically updating their runtimes.